Now we have our new favorite segment, everyone's new favorite, apparently. It is the fraud of the week. I think that I am going to have a different fraud than anybody else, so one of you guys can go first.
I made the mistake also of calling my shot early, apparently, in the group text amongst us.
Yeah, you can't do that because like we just did in our draft, it's the best when we come to the table, everybody with a fresh mind, full of thoughts on every team. And then we undercut each other.
I reassessed everything and had a broader picture. That being said, Brandon, if you would like to go first, I will allow you to go first. All right, fine. I initially had Dak Prescott as my fraud of the week, but then I looked deeper. Like the movie Shrek, there was an onion here, and I kept pulling layer, and layer, and I think the real fraud of the week, the Kansas City Chiefs are frauds of the week this week.
That took a left turn.
Here's why they're frauds this week. And I understand you can make excuses. You know, you've got injuries. The Colts had the ball for a long time, and they did. The Colts came with a game plan. They're like, how do we beat Andy Reid in this offense? You keep him off the field. Makes tons of sense. But even when you had the football, 13 points in Arrowhead? This is classic Andy Reid. So the Kansas City Chiefs, you know what? Kansas City Chiefs, that's too broad. That's too mean. Andy Reid is the fraud of the week. Much like Sean McVay, he's the fraud of the week because I got to be hard on these offensive guys. And the only reason I'm hard on offensive coaches is because they sell us constantly on this idea of, well, they're these gurus and they score these points. And this is the only time this year that the Chiefs have scored less than 28 points in a game. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check with that. But my point is this. This guy threw 50 touchdown passes last year. And I know that team's got a year's worth of film, but how does a guy go from throwing 50 touchdowns last year, having the best offense in football? It's going to be 2 years. I still think maybe they could have a chance at that. But 13 points at home against the Indianapolis Colts? Frauds. They're frauds.
We're not allowed to call...
Andy Reid is fraud.
We're not allowed to call Andy Reid a fraud until he loses his playoff game, I thought.
That's the problem. He's a repeat offender as a fraud, and it annoys me because he lulls us into this idea that, hey, maybe it'll be different this year for Andy Reid, but he does this every single year. Andy Reid, you're a fraud.
You know, you fully went with the idea of the fraud. Is the overreaction that you showed me something and then you pulled it from me. I love it. Mm-hmm. Brandon, you're fraud of NFL Week 5.
This is tough for me.
Or outside of the NFL.
This is tough for me, but I think I'm going to go with the Raiders as a whole. They've won 2 games in a row against the Colts, who just showed that they're pretty good.
Are you future frauding the Raiders?
They've won 2 games in a row, and they're 3-2. Which, if you had the Raiders at above 500 going into Week 6, I don't think anyone would believe you.
You got to give credit where credit's due. The football gremlin, John Gruden.
They don't have much talent. With all the stuff that happened in the before the season started.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But I still don't see them winning more than 5 games this year. I think that this will cool off, especially against a Bears team who is much better than them.
It's London.
Yeah, and
weird things happen in London.
So, but I'm going with the Raiders. I think they're frauding us. They're tricking us into thinking maybe they actually have a chance of being close to 500. But I still don't think I don't think they win many more games this year.
So he's calling his fraud.
My shtick is I attack coaches, and he does future frauds.
My fraud of the week, I stepped outside of the NFL. I think we all initially were like, Dak Prescott's a fraud. Watching the Packer game, because I thought the exact same thing.
That's why I changed it, because I'm like,
Dak's my fraud.
Everybody's going to pick that. So I had to make a change.
So I stepped outside the box as well. My fraud this week is Auburn. Auburn could not hang with number 7 Florida. Bo Picks did not look as good. Oh yeah,
he hasn't been good. I haven't been impressed with Bo Nix all year. He hasn't been good.
Fraud. He
hasn't been good.
But they're frauds. They're frauds because people thought they were good because they beat Oregon, and now they're just going to get demolished in the SEC West. And they frauded us for the first month. Fraud of the week.
It's hard, though, because they're also a repeat offender like Andy Reid. Auburn and Gus Malzahn are repeat offenders of fraudulent charges.
We will see, and you will be able to vote on who was the biggest fraud of the week.